This is Frank Nieto with Vision Quest Auto, and this is our review of the brand new Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. That's a lot of words in the title. You know, it's 4 words for a title of a car. That's a lot. But they stand for one thing, and that is awesome. uh, Short review. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of this, but really, that's not that big of a surprise that we're going to say that this is awesome, because the Honda Accord has been the standard bearer for affordable, sporty sedans for decades. It's faced off against many challengers over the years. You know, of course, its #1 rival, the Macho Man Randy Savage, to its Hulk Hogan, was the Toyota Camry. They're still doing battle to this day. But it's seen off the likes of the Ford Probe. It's seen off the Mazda 6. It is basically, the Volkswagen Jetta is still around, but I don't think that anybody's going to really compare the two of these that well anymore. There's also the Hyundai Sonata. Great car, not quite as sporty as an Accord or now a Camry. So it's seen off a lot of things, but what makes this car so great? Well, what makes it great is it just does everything right. There are very few faults to find in this car. In fact, you're going to see some real nitpicks when it comes to that, and it's going to seem bad, but it's hard to find something bad to say about this car. This car gets excellent gas mileage, of course, because it's a hybrid. It's getting over 40 miles per gallon on both the highway and the city. So it's excellent in that regards. It actually, as the name implies, with sport, is very athletic. It has excellent handling, very good pickup, especially in its sport mode, though honestly, there's not a huge difference between normal mode and sport mode in this car. Honda just really laid it out really nicely. As you can tell, it's a really, really attractive car. I especially like the headlights here. I'm not a big person that's going to point out way the cars look, because you can see it. But I'm going to say, really dig these headlights. I'm not a big fan of the giant emblems that you're seeing nowadays, but I honestly really love what Honda did here. I like that you got that Honda logo up front and center. It's got a great hood line, really is attractive car. As you can see, as I said, this has a great swooped look. It's just really, really attractive to the eye. I mean, it's unlike a lot of other sedans out there. It's just got great looks. It's got this tremendous amount of space up front. The hybrid version has one pedal driving, which is similar to what you might find in electric vehicles. As you can tell, tons of backroom space, loads of space. I have the booster seat there for my daughter, and you can just tell that obviously a kid isn't going to have any is going to have any problem getting in this car, but also adults are going to have lots of leg room. The trunk is 16.7 cubic feet, and then it has leather trimmed seats that are available in the top 3 trims. So I'm going to take you through some of the pros, things that I really like about this car. #1 thing is its looks. We've gone over that. It also is great value proposition. You're going to get a ton of features. That's not that surprising when you go with hybrids. They tend to start at a higher trim than the normal cars out there, like the standard Honda Accord. This starts at the sport trim. That's the 3rd tier up. And what you get with that is pretty much every tech feature you would want. In fact, the Accord Hybrid comes with pretty much every tech feature that the Accord has to offer. The reason for that is because all 3 of the top trims for the Accord are the hybrid models. That shows you the direction that Honda is taking with this car, and in fact, the company anticipates about 50% of all Accord sales to be the hybrid versions. Here's something that is, to me, the standout feature of the car. Just something I'm going to point out that I don't think is getting enough notice, and that is that, look at that. Unlike the previous generation Accord, which was also a fantastic car, but it had one major issue, or I had one major beef with it, I should say, and that was that it had its shifter were buttons. So you had a P button for park, R for reverse, D for drive, and there was an N for neutral. It was easy to drive, but I don't know. I'm driving a car, I'm not driving a computer. I don't want buttons. And I love that Honda brought back the shifter. I also love that they gave it the little leather boot, which is awesome. And it just feels nice. So, same with the steering wheel here. I like to point out steering wheels in my reviews just because it's the number one thing that you're actually touching as you drive. And you will want it to feel nice, to look nice. It has a great feel to it. It's leather wrapped. Feels great. Even the plastic feels nice. Horn, it's rubberized, but it is what it is. Um, that's fine. I'm generally not a fan of this kind of lattice, I guess is that the term? I don't know. Matches the interior, and I think that's the big thing. Other manufacturers have used this kind of grating lattice work. It kind of has that garden feel to me. I don't know about you, but that's what it just looks like. Some of those things you have in like an English garden. And it kind of matches this car. I don't think it matches other cars that it's in, so that's really cool. All right, now I'm going to go to our first category, and it's a new one, and it's called the Fat Guy in Little Coat category, named after, of course, Chris Farley and Tommy Boy and his famous Fat Guy in a Little Coat uh, section where he rips David Spade's coat. Something that just does not fit with the car. And there's so much that Honda does right with this car that it's really hard to find faults with it. But that's my job. I'm just going to nitpick. That roofline right there, it's a it's waiting to wallop you like Mick Foley with a steel chair. You're going to get nailed if you're getting in there on a regular basis as a taller person. My kids haven't had that problem because they're little people. Um, you know, as they get older, I can guarantee that they're going to bump their head because daddy has bumped his head twice on that thing already. It hasn't hurt tremendously, but, so maybe it's not a Mick Foley steel chair. Maybe it's, uh, you know, a Christian Cage steel chair or something. Not as hard, but still walloped me a little bit. Didn't enjoy it. Maybe it's so that's my nitpick. That's my fat guy in little coat. This doesn't match the car, but then it kind of does because you need that for this. This design, if you were to, here, let me close the door here. If you were to take away that scoop, I think it doesn't look quite as good, but it's up to you. Do looks matter as much as your passenger's head? Probably. I don't know. I would probably make my passengers take the Mick Foley chair shot. So, hey, that's me. So our next category here is the biggest con that I have with this car. And honestly, like I said, last generation, it would have been the little touch button um, shifter. Um, that would have been my con. This generation's con, it's really hard to come up with a con, to be honest, for it because this car is great. My con for this generation is specific to this model, and it is that Honda charges extra for wireless phone charging. Specifically, you have to move up to the Touring Edition. Um, to me, when you're coming with wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, you should also have wireless charging. I know that it's an expense. Honda would have had to increase the price of this car. Totally understand it. Um, if that's something you really want, of course, you're going to have to move up. That kind of, increases the price, of course. And maybe if that's the only feature you really wanted, that kind of stings. It's not the biggest deal in the world. You can plug in the phone. A lot of people will mention CVTs as a con in a car. To me, this one doesn't get that. First, it's a hybrid. You're going to get a CVT more often than not with a hybrid car. They just run better. That's the way that auto manufacturers go. Two, Honda makes a great CVT nowadays. And of course, if you don't know, that's continuously variable automatic transmission. What that is it's not quite an automatic, but it is an automatic transmission. It's not really shifting gears. It has one gear. Um, they tend to drone. This one does not drone. I've pushed it. It doesn't drone. What it actually has is it has a different sound. It's not quite a sporty sound. Maybe instead of that growl that you expect out of a Mustang, you're going to get like a little bit of a growl from a younger cat. I don't want to say kitten because it's not that. It sounds better than that, but it's not quite the throaty growl that you get out of a true sports car. But again, this is not a true sports car, and it sounds pretty great. It handles great. This car just doesn't do a whole lot wrong. So when it comes down to it, my one beef is that you have to spend extra for wireless charging. And if that's the only thing that you have bad to say about a car, that's pretty damn good. Next category is, what song is this? And honestly, I thought a whole lot about this. Um, I kept coming back to one artist. Well, first, I'll just walk you through my thought process on what song this car is. The first song was a song by an artist. He's not very well known, that I believe, but pretty damn good. So you should check him out. Coog, the song Becky Lynch, The Man. This is like, what is this? My third wrestling reference of the day. It's getting kind of crazy here. But if you know Becky Lynch, she is the man. Like that, the Honda Accord is the man. It's the man in its category of sporty sedan. It's faced all challengers. It's taken them down. It's the man. That doesn't quite match up for what I was thinking, though. My second song was Vibrant Thing by Q-Tip, of course, from Tribe Called Quest. And as you can tell, this car is a vibrant thing. That matched up a whole lot for it. And it was my song choice for this for a while, until I thought of another Tribe Called Quest song, and that is Award Tour. And frankly, I don't think there's another song that matches this car better than Award Tour, because this car has been taking awards left and right for decades. Since it's come out, it has been the standard bearer. So as I could see, Becky Lynch didn't quite match that because she doesn't have the track record. Vibrant Thing doesn't quite tell you all you need to know, because there are many cars that you could say are a vibrant thing. But Award Tour, you're going to really struggle to find a car that has won as many awards as this, and they're not bought and paid for the way that you might think with some other awards that have happened throughout history. This car has earned every award it's gotten. This car is fantastic across the board. And so, Award Tour it is. To wrap this up here, we're going to score this on our Vision Quest Auto rating scale. And as you know, they tend to change. They match what vehicle we're reviewing at any one time. And of course, this is the Honda Accord Hybrid Sport that we're reviewing, and I'm going to rate this on the Steven Seagal rating scale. I thought of two movies to score this car on the Steven Seagal rating scale, and they're both the same. Now, that's not a surprise, because pretty much every Steven Seagal movie is, in fact, the same movie. But these two have this similar Echo Warrior vibe, and I think that the Honda Accord Hybrid is a bit of an Echo Warrior. So I'm thinking of Fire Down Below and On Deadly Ground. But out of those two, I'm going to go with not Fire Down Below, even though it has a better title. I'm going to go with On Deadly Ground. And that's simple reason, because that was the first movie that Steven Seagal played a kick-ass environmentalist. And in that movie, his boss was Michael Caine. And Steven Seagal had to take him down because his company was harming the environment. And similarly, Honda Accord Hybrid Sport is both athletic, it's a kick-ass beast, but it's also an environmentalist because it's getting over 40 miles per gallon. So there you go. On Deadly Ground, Forrest Taft. That's this car. All right. I want to thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, follow, do whatever you need to do. um, with this video. Uh, we are on, of course, YouTube, but we're also on Twitter, X. We're on Instagram. We're on Threads. We're on Blue Sky, and we're on Post. So you can find us under Vision Quest A on Twitter, X, Vision Quest Auto on Instagram. We'll also keep an eye out for us on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter X specifically, because we'll be posting our list of cars that we're going to be reviewing in the next couple weeks, and we'd love to have any of your questions ahead of time in our reviews. So keep it out there, and we are Vision Quest Auto. I want to thank you for watching.